Right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's Variety Friday night. We're glad to have everybody here. So, so for today, our topic is going to be on the art of problem solving, creative thinking in tech careers. And today, our speaker with us is our back end developer, David Sampson. He will be giving us an insight of how to solve a problem based off the back end development aspect and maybe a few general aspects to that. So I would like to give it a thumbs up. You can drop a reaction in the comment section to welcome David as our speaker. Just give a thumbs up reaction if you're excited to hear what he has to say today in the Q&A. So we can welcome David. I'm waiting for your reactions. I know we've talked about doing small tasks, but knowing from a back end perspective would be really, really nice. I think that's why we actually brought up this particular idea. I think each of our tutors will have to actually talk on the aspect in different segments. Yes, I think that would be nice. Would you guys actually love that? Okay. So with some few thumbs up in the comments. Okay. All right. So David, you're welcome to our Variety Friday. We're glad to actually have you here today as a speaker here. David, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. I think I see the thumbs up in the comments. They're actually giving you a welcome. I think they're excited about what you have to say concerning this. So David, you can actually start. You have the floor to actually start. So you can start by you can share your screen.
All right.
Oh, sorry. Forgive me if I'm not sharing my own screen or showing my face. I'm having some technical difficulties concerning that. So that's why I'm not sharing my Sampson on my camera right now. We're having some issues concerning that. So David, you have the floor. You can share your screen and you can start your presentation. You can do an intro if you want to, but the floor is all yours.
Okay,
Okay.
can you see my screen
Yes, you can see your screen. You can see your screen.
and the slide also? Can you see the slide? Okay. 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 Thank you.
Yes, you can see your screen.
Okay. Thank you for having me today's variety night. Like Sheila said, my name is David Sampson, and for CareerEX, I'm the backend developer, but outside, I'm a full stack developer and a coding instructor. So today I'll be sharing my own perspective on problem solving in tech. So at any point, if I get carried away or maybe you have something to say, you can always drop a question in the comment section and I will attend to it. I'm supposed to share my screen, sorry, my camera to open the camera, but I hope I'll do that before the end of this session. I will do that, except you want me to do with touchlight, but I will do that. So, I've had the opportunities to discuss with a few students. I've had the opportunity to work with some developers. I've had the opportunity to work with clients, and I can actually share what my perspective on problem solving is about from the perspective of teacher, a student, client, and a developer. And So that being said, I will just go right ahead. My name is David Sampson. Like I said, I'm a full stack developer, and I want to believe you can see my screen. If you can see my slide, please just show me a thumbs up if you can see my slide. Thumbs up. Yes, thumbs up if you can see my slide. All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, as a full stack developer, I understand what it means to be a problem solver in today's world of tech, and that is what I have come to share with you. All right, it is very important to be a problem solver in tech. Now, it doesn't matter which area of tech you are in, whether it's cybersecurity, data science, product design, product management, any area. It is very, very important to be a creative thinker. And not just a creative thinker, you should be able to innovate any idea that is given to you. Now, innovating means making it better than what it used to be. So that way, you take something and you create something entirely different and better from what was given to you. Okay, now in this session, we'll try to cover what the basics of problem solving is, the creative thinking process, the practical steps, techniques you need to actually start thinking, and the real world examples, people who have done this before, how you can also do it, and how to apply these skills in your tech career. So the first question is, what is problem solving? Now, in tech, problem solving involves identifying challenges, understanding the root causes, and developing innovative solutions. Um, Not just the grammar, but meaning being able to look at a challenge. It could be in tech, it could be how to use tech to solve it. So when I say in tech, it means within the tech industry there could be challenges, and outside the tech industries where you have other areas, maybe in law firms, in the market, there could also be challenges that will be solved if you are thinking in that line. So that is what problem solving is all about. It's not just about fixing bugs or coding, but also understanding how to create a system that help people, create processes, create products that will meet specific needs of people. So problem solving is a core skill for every tech or for every techie. It is I would want to share personal experiences, and I will do that soon. But as a techie, it's not something that will be taught, but you need to learn it on your own. Anytime, whenever you have the zeal to learn a skill, the first thing to come to mind is this skill I'm trying to learn. What can I use it for? Now, I know most of us, what we pay attention to is how to make money with our skill. But the right question would be this skill, what problems can it solve? If your skill can actually solve problems, and that is when you can make money from or with your skill. So if you are learning a skill, you are also learning how to solve problems. If you're not learning how to solve problems, then you should start learning how to solve problems with that skill, because that is the most important thing when it comes to tech. It affects a lot of areas, including your career as a techie, if you can't solve any problem with your skills. So as as a skill, problem solving is very critical, but it also affects your career. And I will explain what I mean by it affects your career. You may not be able to grow if you cannot solve problems. Now, it is good to have the skills. It is good to know how to code. It's good to know how to arrange data. modify data, extract data. It's good to understand the encryption and everything in the world of cybersecurity. But knowing it alone is not enough. If you are going to grow, you should know how to use what you know to solve problems. A typical example would be an experience I had while I was in school. Now, being in school, I mean university, being in school, I was opportune to be in an international student organization. And this student organization, we were supposed to have recruitment for for newbies, for new students, and they want to do it better, and they want to do it in a good way. So applications were open for those of us who understand, maybe for those of us who they believe can actually do something. So applications were open to apply. You be the president, you be the vice president, come up with ideas and then give us best students or give us new students as you are leaving. So for me, I was thinking, oh, I know this person. Like I had my colleagues. I know Sharon, I know Connor, I know this person. And the three of them are going to be applying for president. So I am not going to apply for president. Let me just stick with the vice president. They are going to apply for the president, and when they apply for it, whatever is their, will I say, whatever is their idea, whatever be their innovation, whatever they are thinking, how they want to solve the problem, they will come up with it. But as the vice president, I will just follow them. I'm not interested in cracking or doing any calculations, trying to figure out how to recruit the best students into the platform. So, because I refused to apply for president, and the reason why I refused to apply was because I was thinking to myself, my ideas, I don't even want to bother myself thinking about ideas on how to do something. I don't want to. I just want to come in as the vice president, and then whoever is going to be the president should be responsible for thinking things through, picking up solutions, and let's work with it. So on the day of the interview, the people who are supposed to interview us looked at me and said, David, oh, we were thinking you would apply for president because nobody applied for president. Obviously, the persons who I was looking at that they are going to apply, we are also looking at me that I would apply. So that single decision of not wanting to take up any problem or trying to solve any problem had made me decide to bring myself down to the level of vice president. Now, I wasn't the only person who applied for vice president. Another lady who I would say was younger in the program also applied for vice president. And they said, okay, since nobody applied for president, we're going to interview the two of you. Anybody who succeeds becomes the president, and the next person will become the vice president. So, but because I didn't have any idea, I wasn't even prepared on what to do, how to go about it. I failed the interview. And that was the humiliating, I would like to say the most humiliating interview of my life, because I had to work with someone who was so much younger, not just in age, but in experience too. But at the end of the program, I was awarded and I was given a prize. And that was because I put in my energy after being humiliated. So, how does it affect your career? The moment you stop thinking, the moment you stop thinking how to solve problems, whether it concerns you or not, you will discover that you remain at a certain level. It doesn't matter whether it's in school, it doesn't matter whether it's in church. Opportunity may come to you, but it may not be directed to you immediately. But if you are somebody who has the skill of solving problems, and you know that whatever skill I am working with, whatever I'm learning, they should all gear towards solving problems, then you will grow in your career. But if you feel like, oh, problem solving is not my thing, I'm not interested in thinking too much, I don't want to bother myself, then it is going to reduce your career promotions. It will reduce them. Now you will not be getting the recognitions you want in any field, the rewards, the awards. You will not be getting them if you are not a problem solver. All right. Now, what possible challenges or what possible problems could you be thinking about how to solve? There are so many areas you can innovate, whether you are in the front end, whether you're back end, data science, cyber security, product design, product management, any field you work in, you can always contribute something. Simply identifying and fixing bugs can actually earn you recognitions. And this happened a lot in open source projects. I don't know if you're familiar with open source projects, but there are some problems or challenges in code bases that all it needs is just a little tweak, and you get the recognitions you want. Sometimes it could be system downtimes, maybe any of these banks, any software, they actually go down, and you happen to work with them. You can actually figure out what causes this downtime and how can we solve these problems. So on a daily basis, we encounter so much challenges that needs innovation, things that can actually balance up our daily lives. Because you hear people complaining of so many softwares, not just with softwares. You also hear people complaining about agencies, systems, platforms, things that we could work on and create something better if we were thinking. So, as a techie, not just product designs now, as a techie, your main goal is actually to improve user experience. Whatever it is you are working on is to improve the user experience. So, designing products, creating a user-friendly interface, creativity, understanding user behaviors. This is something every techie should be involved with. For data science, cleaning and interpreting messy data, extract meaningful insights. These are things that can actually be. Now, I know developers who they know how to code, but when they sit down to actually look at what people have done and see what they can contribute to create a major breakthrough in that software. So it's an existing software, but their own job, they specialize in just looking at what can I add to this software that is going to make it absolutely different from what it is now. And when they come up with that idea, they put it and package it as a proposal and send to whoever is in charge. I know a lot of them, they do it with LinkedIn, and they just find out any company they feel like they want to work with, put up the proposal together, put up how can I contribute to this, and then they send it in form of proposals. And that earns them the recognition they want. You may not get the job, but at least you will be recognized that you are actually paying attention to a software and the challenges the software is having. So some persons say the tech space is crowded. I don't believe that, but let's say it is crowded. How would you stand out as a techie in a crowded tech space? Is by problem solving, solving problems, thinking creatively. That is the only way you can stand out if you work or if you want to work in a crowded tech space. So how do you start solving problems? What do you need to do to actually cultivate this skill of problem solving? The first thing is to identify the problem. Clearly identify the problem. understanding what the problem is, the scope of the problem, and the people it affects. Another thing would be, with a clear definition of the whole problem and all of that, you want to identify why it is important to actually solve this problem. Now, although problems exist, but you want to know, why should we solve this problem? Why should we solve this one, this particular one? Why is it important that we solve this problem? For example, if a website is slow, why is it important to make it fast? If it's not loading images, why is it important to make it load images? If the data we are getting is not correct, why is it important to actually get this to work? If, for example, we hear of data leaks, why is it important to implement encryptions, data two-factor authentication, stuff that could actually safeguard user data? Why is it important? And also, research about the problem, gather informations, be open-minded to different information. You generate ideas. At this point, you don't really want to know which idea is going to work or which one will not work. You generate all the ideas you can. And from the ideas you have, the why, put together the importance of solving the problem, the research you've done about this particular problem, and also all the ideas you've gathered, you can evaluate them to come up with the best solution. Now, why am I listing this? I will share another experience with you. As a techie, I think around 2021, 2022, I got an offer for a tech job, and it was too good to be true. Why do I say it was too good to be true? I was given an offer to come to Dubai, and I will be paid some certain amount of dollars. And if I decide to stay in Nigeria, I will be paid half of that money. Now, the amount, or will I say the pay, was not a problem to me. Like, it wasn't the challenge. Where I will stay is not actually the challenge. I want to be in Nigeria, I want to be in Dubai. That's not the challenge at that point. The main thing was what they were asking me to do with APIs, build with APIs, interact with external APIs. I see it as a problem. I was thinking to myself, I haven't done this before. Why should I do this? And I want the offer. Actually, I want to take the offer and move to Dubai. But what if I go there and I'm not able to deliver the job? I'm not able to do the task. Or even if, what if I decide to stay in Nigeria and I spend my time working on this particular project? At the end of the day, I'm still able not to achieve anything. Now, it never dawned on me that the person who was offering me the job was not even asking me, have you done this before? No, it wasn't. At that point, I didn't even think in that direction, that they are not asking you, have you done it before? So that experience, I missed the offer, not because I just deliberately decided not to respond or flow with the interview and the question. So that's how I missed out. But the what I say, the lesson there for me was, I wasn't being paid to do what I already know how to do. So that is one thing I've come to understand in tech. Nobody is paying you to do what you already know how to do. No. As a matter of fact, we have a lot of technical writers that know how to solve problems. They're putting out there. You have AIs that know how to solve problems. They are putting it out there. Now, if it is about problems that just exist for now, there are AIs that can solve these problems. If there are problems that we know how to do, there are people who can do it. But as a techie, you are being paid to think, figure it out. Whether you know how to do it now is not, that shouldn't be the deciding factor, or should be what will decide your response. No, I can't. It's your job to take your time, figure it out. That is the main reason why you are paid to be a techie. That is the main reason why you are learning this skill. You're not learning the skill that at the end of the day, the cybersecurity tutor, what he has finished teaching me, that is the exact same thing I will go and offload to Flutterwave company. That is the exact same thing I will go to Access Bank and offload, because of course I learned from the best. So what he has taught me is all I need. No, what they are teaching you is like the tip of the iceberg. It's not the main thing. They're just teaching you, opening up, and telling you this is the direction to thinking. So, as a techie, that is the main goal, to figure things out. Now, if I knew that, okay, my job would be to sit down and figure it out, I would have accepted the offer and say, you know what, lodge me in one of the best hotels, provide food, provide data, provide power, provide everything I need, and give me 2 weeks. I am going to sit down and figure out how to solve this particular problem you are having. Because that is the only reason why you are coming to me. Now, if you had other developers who know how to do this, they would have gone to them. But maybe somehow they knew that, okay, you as a developer, you can sit down and look at the problem critically and figure out how to solve this problem. That is all it means to be a techie in 2024. Now, I know by 2025 is going to be more than that, but in 2024, what it means to be a techie is that you need to sit down and figure out how to do a particular thing. These days, you have clients that will just sit down in their house, come up with ideas and say, oh, I want to build a software that you just tap on the software and credit cards start debited. Oh, I want to sit down from my house and I want to be able to monitor what is going on inside my car as the children are being driven to school. Oh, I want to sit down in my house and I'm able to monitor the level of gas or the level of gas in my gas cylinder. Or I want to sit down in the office and know exactly what is happening in the house, and I want to be able to shut down the power or shut down anything I want to shut down. So people are coming up with ideas of what they want to build. So the question would be, you as a techie, can you build it? Can you do these things? Now, if you are not cultivating the idea of, okay, this is a challenge, how do we solve this particular one? But that is what it means to be a techie in 2024. Okay. So there are so many steps, like I said, in creative thinking. First is identify the problems, well define it, ask the right questions. What is the problem? Why is this problem like this? Who does it affect? Also brainstorm, ask questions. Don't judge any ideas. Just keep generating the ideas. As you generate them, then you can start evaluating the ideas. Implement the solutions you have. Whatever ideas you actually come up with, implement them. So creative thinking involves looking at problems from a new perspective, picking up assumptions, generating ideas, and it goes beyond the conventional, I would like to say, the normal way we do it in tech. It goes just beyond that. Sometimes we actually there are some challenges I've been able to solve while I am in the football pitch playing football. There are some challenges I've been able to solve when I'm on the road just watching cars moving up and down. There are some challenges I've been able to solve when I'm taking a walk. So generating ideas, thinking about them, and how to solve them. There's no perfect path to say, okay, if you want to solve a problem. I know a particular story about a man that works in a company that they say he stays at the last floor, and every day he comes to work and he's just thinking for the company. He's just thinking for the company. So you may have that kind of approach to say, okay, I want to always sit down and think about how to solve problems in a particular place. But as a techie, someone like us who writes code, we know that sitting down in one place can be very, very boring. It can be very, very boring. So thinking you cannot think well when you are bored. You cannot think well when you are not seen outside. Can't as I take myself as an example, my table where I sit to work cannot face the wall because the wall, looking at the wall, I feel like my thinking space is blocked because I'm looking at the wall. So I prefer to look through the window to see ahead. That's just me. It may not be the same with you, but that's just me. Okay, now there are tools and techniques you can actually employ in order to solve problems. So the first one is mind mapping. Mind mapping is like a visual tool used to organize information and ideas around a concept. It helps you explore different facets of the problems, potential solutions, break them down into subtopics, connecting them visually. Largely, you're working with your mind how to solve problems. I do this a lot. Most times I can be quiet, as in I can be quiet for almost 3 hours without paying attention to what is actually going on around me. But in my mind, I am connecting the dots in a particular software. I may not be able to put it in writing in words, but I know how they are supposed to be connected. Do it. So I can just start with a piece of paper, write down the main in my mind, not in my mind, put the problem at the center, and then have different branches leading to different solutions. How can I solve this particular? So, for example, a project, I will use a website more. Now, for a project focused on improving website performance, a mind gap might be that, okay, we want to optimize the server, or maybe the front end performance is not that great, or the database queries are not fast, or maybe our users are complaining of the speed, so their experience is not good. This Any of this could be a problem that I want to solve with my mind. So I will start with what the problem is, then think the 100 possible solutions to this thing. Now, the most important thing there is thinking. That is the most important thing, thinking. Because if you are not thinking, there is no way you can actually grow. Now, I'm not saying as a motivational speaker, this is reality. Thinking when it comes to tech, thinking is not about, oh, how would I put this there, motivational speaker? If you don't aspire to perspire, you will aspire. No, no, not that kind of stuff. But we mean real thinking. We were told when we started learning tech, we were told that the coding is actually 30% of the whole problem solving. Now you spend 70% thinking, planning, piece of paper, visuals. You do a lot of work before you actually bring out what you want to present. So that is the whole idea of this session. Now, if you have not been thinking, it is time to start thinking, because there is absolutely no way you will grow in tech if you are not thinking. Now, whatever it is you think you know, that same thing has been taught to other developers. But the only thing that is going to be a difference between you and somebody who did that same thing last year or who will do it next year is because you are thinking. You are thinking. The second way, or the second technique you can use, is your SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So it is a strategic tool that can help you in assessing factors relating to a problem. How it works is you create 4 quadrants: the strengths, you list out the strength, you list out the weaknesses, You list out the opportunities and the threats associated to any problem. So this way, you can actually make informed decisions based on weighing the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities involved, and also the threats involved in it. For example, when you are trying to launch a new tech product, the SWOT analysis there may highlight maybe the innovative ideas that it comes with. The weakness there may be, oh, it is low, we are low on budget, limited in budget, so we may not be able to do much. The opportunities there may be the market demand. People are going to be looking up to see this kind of product in the market. And the threat there may be that you have a strong opposition, or not opposition, competition rather, that somebody who's doing this same thing, maybe not exactly the same thing, but they have something similar to what you want to push out to the market. So this is what SWOT analysis can do for you. Now, with that, you can actually weigh what your decision would be from you are seeing the strength, you are seeing the weaknesses, you're seeing the opportunities and the threats associated to this same thing. With that, you can actually make your decision. So another technique is the root cause for analysis. A root cause for analysis is used to identify the underlying causes of a problem rather than just addressing the symptoms. You want to understand what the root cause of this problem is. So it helps you understand the fundamental issues that need to be resolved. I'm trying to be slow, and I just hope you can hear me. But if you can still hear me, I want you to drop a thumbs up. Maybe not drop a thumbs up because this place you don't drop. So you can just throw a thumbs up. So I know that you are still. Thank you, thank you. Any other person, you can just drop a thumbs up so I know you can hear me. Yeah, I was prepared to come and maybe just up my slides, try to motivate you and all of that, and also use um, English. And I noticed that learning tech, coming up from tech, from my background, I'm more of an operations person. Operations meaning if you want something done and you need something to be done, you call me. That's who I am. So I am more of a problem solver. You want this thing done, you call me. That is who I am. That is the field I actually picked or I chose from when I moved into tech. And when I started tech, it was more like my decision to solve a problem for myself that actually led me into tech. I remember when I was given a computer for the first time. I think I was in JSS 1. I saw a computer for the first time. And we are being asked to introduce ourselves and say a little what. The first question I asked them was, how can I use this computer to communicate with somebody abroad? That's the only thing I wanted to know. So my challenge then was I want to be able to reach out to my uncles that are actually abroad without having to call them with a phone, because at that time I had no mobile phone. So the decision to move into tech was actually to solve a problem for myself, being able to reach out to relatives that are abroad. And because I knew what I wanted, it came with a lot of challenges. And that is one thing with tech. Tech is going to test you. It is really, really going to test you. Now, it is at the point where you have been tested and you overcome. That is that point where you can actually say, now I am a techie. Now, what do I mean by it is going to test you? It is going to weigh you. It could be with your resources. It could be with your time. Now, it is going to give you so much reasons, loads of reasons why you should just quit tech. You should just stop doing this thing. It is going to give you those reasons. And those reasons are actually the problems or the challenges that you need to solve. It could be financially. Financially, I mean data, power. It could also be your time. Maybe you have another job you're doing, you have something you're doing, or maybe you're on a different career path and you are scared of moving from one career to another. Now, all of those challenges that will be posed to you are the problems you actually need to solve first before you start thinking about the external problems to solve. So that is how I started tech. And because I knew what I wanted, the challenges of not having power, I was able to overcome. The challenges of not having data, I was able to overcome. The challenges of actually studying on an empty stomach, I was also able to overcome. Now, these are personal problems that you can actually, you will face before you start talking about other challenges you need to solve in tech. All right, so to emphasize my point, the purpose of this session today to tell you about the continuous learning. Is it from my end? Okay.
I've been done before. I've done by 8.
Okay. Let's continue then.
I just.
Kerry, you were saying something? Okay.
Oh,
So
sorry. Go on.
let's continue. I'm trying to move as fast as I can so that I don't skip whatever it is I might wanted to have touched. But there's importance of continuous improvement, continuous learning, continuous research as a techie. You continue doing it and you persist. The reason why you will continue doing it and you persist is because some problems you don't solve it the first time you attempt to solve it. You keep trying it. You keep trying it. You keep trying it. And that is how you can actually solve a lot of problems. I might take examples. If you are writing codes, there could be a feature you want to implement in your code base, or maybe not just for code, because I'm speaking from a coding background, but some challenges can take you days. Some features can take you days. What is this? I can say weeks. It can take you weeks to solve a particular problem. I know the first time I was trying to finish up a huge project, a big project, as I would consider that I would consider that as my first big project. I ran into so many issues, from the authentication, how to authenticate user, to how to privatize different routes in my backend, how to secure user details, maybe their tokens and all of that. I had a lot of issues. Now, it took me days, weeks. I was almost giving up. I was going to go back to the client and say, you know what, can we find somebody else? Now, I came up with the perfect excuse of, oh, only one person cannot work on front end and back end. And that is one thing challenges do for you. It will give you the perfect excuse to use. You will figure out that instead of thinking about the problem, you're actually thinking about the right excuse, the perfect excuse to come out of that problem, instead of thinking about the problem and how to solve it. So, but somehow for me, because if you persist in the problem, you keep thinking about it, you keep talking about it, and you keep sharing with people, there is every possibility that you see there's a solution to that problem. So because I was sharing, I was able to run into a hacker, a Vietnam hacker, that said, you know what, I know how to do this and I am going to help you. Now, how we got in contact, I have absolutely no idea. But because at the same time, I was thinking of the excuse to come out of the problem, and I'm also thinking about the problem, and I was putting it out there for anybody who cares to listen or maybe wants to read or see what I'm posting. So sharing stuff can actually help you find solutions. And what am I saying this? The fear of failure made me, I'm not in Dubai today. Now, I'm not saying the offer will not come back or maybe the offer has not come back, but because I was scared of not doing a particular thing, oh, I don't think I have done this before. And because I haven't done it before, I may not be able to do it. As a matter of fact, let me just remain where I am instead of thinking of solutions that can actually land me into bigger problems. And that is one thing with tech. You can actually start with small challenges and you solve them. You'll be faced with bigger challenges. And that is one thing in tech. So if you're going to be a senior dev, a senior name, a big name in cybersecurity, you start with the small challenges. You solve the small challenges, you see that you see clients coming with bigger challenges. That a lot of solutions, a lot of mobile apps that I've actually had to work on are mobile apps that I didn't start myself. Somebody started it and left it. So you are called up to take up this software and complete it. Now, the smaller challenge there will be I'm the one that started this thing from the ground. So starting it initially, I know how to solve small issues that will come up. But carrying up a whole software that some other person has finished building, but they encountered a challenge and decided to abandon it because they don't know where to go to, and then decide to finish it and complete it is another level unlocked for me. So what am I actually saying in a sense? The fear of failure can actually bring your career down as a techie. Now, there could be mental blocks because you're not thinking far. And I just explained to you that what helps me think is because my working station is not facing the wall. I feel like if I face the wall, it's actually causing a mental blockage for me that I can't actually think through. So I keep my window open and my table facing the window that I can actually look far away from the window, and it helps my thinking. Now, another thing that can affect you or in solving problems could be resources. And I said it is something that tech is going to use to test you. It will test you with money. It can be maybe data, it could be power. It's going to test you. It's also going to test you with manpower to see, okay, can you actually give out this energy, this amount of energy to deliver this source. It can actually test you with time. Maybe you have something else going on. You have other things you want to do. Can you put in the time to try and solve this problem? Now, these are actually what can move you from being a newbie into a big name in tech. Now, the difference between you that is actually learning now and me that is actually sitting here is because I have solved more problems. And the reason why I'm able to teach most of my students and I teach them very well and mark their assignment is because there is nothing they are doing, or maybe there's no challenge they are facing that I have not faced already. So I know what they are facing. I know what they will face. As a matter of fact, I tell them what they will face in a certain level in their tech careers. So that is the difference between you that is learning now and me that is actually talking to you. So if you want to one day be a big name in tech, you should be actually counting how many problems have I solved, because that is how you grow. That is the whole growth idea. How many problems have you solved? Now I can count challenges that I have encountered and I've actually solved them and delivered them. And because I can count that, if I sit down and I'm talking to somebody and mentioning all these things, I would earn my recognition. But if your idea, and I want to say this categorically, if your idea of learning tech is whatever it is I have been taught in class, that is all I need, then you have not started. You have not started, because as a person who wants to grow in tech, you know that whatever it is you are being taught is actually the starting point. Where you begin your tech journey is the first time you solve your first problem, first challenge. That's when you've actually started your tech journey. It could be personal problems, It could also be a problem related to tech. It could also be a problem related to software you're working on. It could be problem with not just your own, but your colleagues. And I just gave an example of myself. I didn't want to bother taking up the president. I just want to stick at the vice president. Of course, vice president and president would just sit on the same table and they will rapport together. But everybody there knew that, oh, this person is good. So why didn't you apply for president? As a matter of fact, they gave me the opportunity to say, okay, you know what? Since you didn't apply, we're going to actually give it to you. And also, I also gave an example of the job offer I had in Dubai. The person wasn't interested. The client wasn't interested in whether you've done this before. Now, he knows that looking at you and what you say you know, you should be able to figure out whatever is thrown at you. So the tech world today is about how many problems you have solved, how many challenges in tech that you've actually taken up and you finished it. And that is why we advise people to look at open source. Because if you can actually solve a particular challenge in open source, and I'm talking to, may not just be the software developers, but every other person, even designers too. Yeah, how many challenges you've been able to solve. So embrace the failures. If I knew, and I'm saying this, I would have just taken up that offer. You know what? And some people say, "Oh, die and I die." If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. And you might think that, oh, I will fail, and at the end of the day, you come up with a new innovations, something that has not happened before, because a lot of solutions today are not something that was expected. They came up unexpectedly. Oh, it can be done actually this way. Oh, this something like this could actually work. Embrace the failures. If the offer is too big, just go ahead and embrace it. If the offer is too good to be true, go ahead and embrace it. If they're offering you something that you think, oh, I never believe, I don't think I can actually do this thing, just go ahead and believe it. The first thing you want to do is that, as a techie, if you are not encountering challenges, then you are not growing. But if they are coming to you, if the challenges, I don't mean spiritual challenges or no, that's not the kind of challenges I'm talking about. I may be saying you could be called upon, like you could be offered a job, which I was given to a software that someone has started and couldn't complete it. Now, if that is given to you, that is a challenge. So you could actually decide to take it up, and maybe you have an idea of the basics of data, working with data. But what the client is asking you is bigger than what you can actually handle at the moment. Now, it doesn't mean because it's bigger, it's bigger, but it doesn't mean because it's bigger, I'm deciding to opt out. I've had a lot of students come to me to say, oh, this kind of opportunity, I think I am good in it, but there is one or two things they added to it that I cannot do, but I can do the other ones. So that one or two things you actually think you cannot do, that is what is going to make you grow. That is where your growth lies in. That is where the recognition lies in. Because if it is just about what you know how to do, there are a lot of developers who also know how to do that. There are a lot of data scientists, a lot of cybersecurity guys who also know how to do that. So what is going to make you grow is actually doing what people think nobody knows how to do. That is the only way you grow. So how would you do that? Break down the problems. Take them one at a time. Break it into smaller problems. That way, you can be solving one piece of it every week. One piece of it every week. Before you know it, you have the whole complete software. Maybe in a month or maybe in 3 months. And also, you prioritize your resources. You don't go at it at all at once. Things you can't do without, you figure out how to improvise. You prioritize resources. I don't know if I've been able to actually convey the message to you, But like I said, I'm not really a motivational kind of guy. I'm more of operations guy. So, and another way to solve problems is, which I have discovered lately, is most times I don't spend my time trying to understand the problem. I actually put out the problem like that to any AI that is available that will help me understand what the problem is. So from what I get as if, will I say, second hand uh, um, analysis, and then begin to figure out what I can do, or maybe your suggestion. So instead of, if you don't have that opportunity to work with a group of persons, you can work with group of AIs. You talk to this AI, talk to this AI, talk to this AI. Now, based on what they all are saying, you can figure out how can I solve this problem. So you can use AIs. Now, if you need automations, you can also automate repeating tasks to free up time. Now, if time is your problem, you can use automation. Now, if you're the type that is working with designs, you can do prototyping and also use testing tools. So, ladies and gentlemen, I may have said all of my rubbish, but the highlight, or what I want you to take away, is that critical thinking, creative approach, collaborative problem solving, and continuous improvement is what you need to thrive as a techie. Now, and it's very, very important that you apply all of these techniques in real world scenarios. It's very, very important. So, I am leaving you with one statement. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow and innovate. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow and innovate. And I'm saying that because I know it from my own personal experience. So take up tasks, go on LinkedIn, apply for roles, search for open source, whatever it is, take it up. Now, a student of mine was asking me, could you be job ready in 3 months? And I'm saying, if you think you can be job ready in 3 months, it depends on you. If you say you can, you can. If you say you can't, you also can't, because being ready is actually being ready to take up challenges, take up problems, and solve them. That is what makes you a job ready. So if you're saying, oh, I'm job ready, it means you are ready to start tackling problems in the tech world. You're ready to start tackling problems in softwares. That's what makes you job ready. And we all know that every techie is always going to see that same thing as a challenge. Every techie, that it doesn't matter whether you're a full stack or you have 14 years experience and so on and so forth. Anything that is presented to you now in this 2024 has never been done before. Now, even if it has been done before, not the way we want it in this 2024. So if you as a newbie, you are seeing it as a challenge, but rest assured that someone with 5 years experience will also see it as a challenge. But the difference between you and them is that they are ready to take up the problem and take up the challenge. But you might feel like, oh, I'm not ready yet to take up the problem. So I think that is where I want to stop my own talk. But if you have any question, you have anything that you want me to answer, please feel free to drop your questions. And also, you can also drop a thumbs up for me that I've been talking. And you can also drop a thumbs up. I want to see thumbs up too. So I know that I wasn't just talking to myself. Really? 2 thumbs up. Only 2. Are you serious? 3? Really? Okay. I was going to show my face, which I wanted to do, but they're not allowing me. They want me to use touchlight, and I don't want to use touchlight. That's what I said about challenges. You have to It will come. You have to do it. Now you can't say because oh I don't have all I need for that reason I can't start. You need to start. Whether you have all you need or you don't have them, you need to start. Okay. So do we have any question? All right, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, David. That was a really lovely session. I feel like I actually learned a thing or two from your sessions. So yes, according to them, yes. So what David said is obviously we're here to solve a challenge. I think the issue of tech is that we know what we're actually meant to solve a challenge. We're here to do something, we're here to do a task. But most people lose sight of the innovative aspect. I'll say there are a lot of people just lose sight of the creativity and the innovative aspect, forgetting that all these Facebook, all these Teslas and the iPhones, they're built by people. They're people's ideas. Somebody thought about it. For example, now, did you know that Steve Jobs actually wasn't an engineer? I just found out like a few minutes ago. He's not an engineer. He didn't study any. I think he studied is it English or is it calligraphy, and he dropped out after 6 months. But Steve Jobs is known for iPhone now. If you think about iPhone, everybody remembers Steve Jobs. He had an idea, though he didn't have the skill, but he had an idea, and somebody built it. The people who actually he reached out to, and they were able to bring that idea of his into reality. So we are here to solve problems. We are here to create things, even things that we've never even imagined. We are here to actually do that because that is what we're paid for. That is what we actually want to learn these skills. So it cannot be just for you just want to learn tech. What do you want to do with tech? You want to, do something with that skill you've learned. So always go for solving problems. Always go for the challenging tasks. Like you said, sorry, always go for challenges because we know sometimes it can be overwhelming. It can be overwhelming, when they give you a task you've never done before, when you have to do something you've had no clue about. Maybe it's a new programming language, maybe something you don't really have much foundation on. But like I said, from our previous narrative, I think that was imposter syndrome. Nobody came to this world knowing it all. Everybody started from as a baby. Everybody started with the ground root of not doing anything. And everything we've known so far to this our whatever age we are, it was something we learned along the way to that made us know what we have. So that challenge you're facing, there is a solution to it. You just have to find a solution to it, think about it, brainstorm about it, do research about it, ask questions about it. You know, ask questions about it. And with them, when you've done your research, when you've asked your question, when you ask your why, how to do it, and the rest, you find that challenge is actually easy to actually overcome and the rest. So yeah, so that's my own input on the whole challenges. Although you can still ask your questions because we're here in the question sections. I'll be looking out for your questions. If you have any questions for me or David to actually answer, we're still looking in the comment section or the Q&A section where we can actually review your questions. Review your questions. Okay, I think David, we have a question in the comment sector. Good evening, Mr. David. Well detailed teaching, sir. Please, sir, how can tech professionals continue to develop their creative problem solving skills or over their careers?
Okay.
Check the comments, the here that you said. I think it's the last two on my own end.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to take that question, but just I'll need to switch my devices just a few minutes. But keep the question coming so I can just switch my device.
Okay. Okay, while we wait for David, I think I'll give an input for David. David is switching his devices. So, how can tech professionals continue to develop their creative problem skills over their careers? It's okay. It's actually take up a challenge. Actually, it's actually take up a challenge. You can go on LinkedIn. I think I don't know about product managers and the rest, but I know for the developers, front end, back cyber security and UI UX. I know that on LinkedIn there is an open source programs where you can actually volunteer, to take up tasks to do things there. So you can actually opt in on one of those challenges and start working on the challenge, then start contributing. It gives you more insights and more experience. It's a more experience, yes, because you get to work with on the projects, you get to work with other people on the project and gives you that insight. So that can actually help. At the end of the day, you're still going to have something to show. So that can be a way whereby you can actually solve a problem online, or you can just, you just actually, if other than that, you can just ask people questions. You
Okay,
can
if
just
I
ask,
can.
okay, David, you're back.
Yes, yes, thank you. So if I can
Okay.
add, how can tech professionals continue to develop their creative problem solving skills over their careers? Now, the first thing is understand that what you're actually here to do as a techie is to solve problems. And second thing you need to understand is that the problems, they do not end. There's no end, which is why there's going to be need for more tech developers. That is one. The second thing you need to understand is that because you learned tech in Nigeria doesn't really mean you'll be solving problems in Nigeria. There's every possibility that you could have learned tech in Nigeria, but you are working with an international organization. So that's the second thing. So what you need to know is that to actually stay relevant, you will continue learning. You will continue learning. It doesn't stop. Now, when I started tech, I had so many videos. I went to one ICT center because I served in the north, and where I served, there is free Wi-Fi, free internet, free power. I used that opportunity to download videos from YouTube, starting from the beginner level till the intermediate level and onto the advanced level. I was thinking that, okay, by the time I'm done watching all of these videos, I'll become a perfect techie. I'll become a good techie. So I had so much videos to watch. And because of that, I had to turn down job offers because I thought that I'm not done learning yet. So learning is a crucial part, but you don't have to say, I need to learn everything first before I start solving problems. So to continue developing, it means you learn small, you solve a problem. You learn another one, you solve a problem. You learn another one, you solve a problem. As a matter of fact, whatever it is you have learned and you have not tried it out, you shouldn't learn new things. That is my own personal philosophy. If I learn something today and I haven't used that one I learned, I will do everything. I will look for opportunities. I'll look, even if I have to do it on my own, give myself a project to make sure that that thing I learned, I've actually practicalized it and used it in a software before I move on to learn another one. So if you go with that philosophy of learn, apply, learn, apply, learn, apply, learn, apply, keep learning and keep applying, then that way, there's a continuous loop for you. It's a continuous loop. Now, there are a lot of things I know I want to do personally, but I'm not moving in to learn them immediately because there are things I learned every day and I want to implement them in projects, and I keep going gradually. So as a techie, the learning cycle never ends. So you keep learning, you keep implementing, you keep learning, you keep implementing. And the best way to actually solve these problems may not be let me go a little, digress a little from here. You actually aim at challenges that are not within you. So if you are able to work in teams that are actually way, way, way bigger than what you can actually take on, maybe for free, or maybe for a token, or maybe even if you are paid very well. So that way, there is every chances that 1 day communication or maybe 2 day communication in that team can actually grow you as a professional, and that's how you can actually grow with your creative problem solving skills. So how do you balance the tech life and the normal life? And the truth is, it's very difficult, and it's one challenge that everybody who moved from a student to being a techie had to go through, trying to balance your tech life and your or normal life. One of them will have to suffer, but you'll be lucky if that is all you have to balance. You have your tech life and your normal life, just two things. The normal life and the tech life. If that's the only thing you have to balance, a lot of us have both jobs to balance too. Some persons have both families to balance too. So you don't have it all figured out. You don't. You can never have it all figured out. So you just take it 1 day at a time. And anyone that is priority to you, you give that more time. That's the only way you can actually say you are gaining a little balance. But if you say you're going to have it figured out and you know how to handle everything, is working perfectly for you, I don't think that's possible. But you take it 1 day at a time and give time to whatever your priority is. Oh, okay. I was thinking it's just two questions, so there are more questions. Really? Okay. My own question is, as a newbie in tech, how can we be able to meet up with challenges outside that is open both advanced and newbies? Okay. The first thing you want to do is put yourself out there. When I started learning tech for the first time, before I wrote my first line of code, I've already branded myself as a web developer. I have to put it up on my Facebook, I have to put it on Twitter or LinkedIn. I put it out there and write it in a way that it is very, very professional, so that when someone reads it, they know that even though you don't know what you're doing, but they assume you know what you're doing. That way, you actually open yourself up to opportunities. And when it comes to tech, opportunities, tech is who actually place themselves ready to take up offers that are actually outside in the international world, actually get it. So try to position yourself in a way that you attract job offers coming from outside the country. And let's say anywhere outside the country. And how do you do that? You use platforms like LinkedIn and Twitter. It is very, very important you use LinkedIn. Very, very, very important. The reason is, a lot of startups that are abroad cannot afford to pay techies that are actually living abroad. Now, when I talk of startups, I'm not talking about big companies like the Netflix and the Google and all of that. No, I'm talking about small companies that are trying to come up. They can't afford to pay techies that are there. So what they do is they outsource them, their staff to maybe countries like Nigeria, Rwanda, and so on and so forth. And how they will find you is on LinkedIn. Now, the reason why they will come to outsource you is because they know it will be cheaper to actually pay you that is coming up and not yet living abroad. So if you position yourself with LinkedIn, there is every possibility that you get job offers that are coming from both outside and within Nigeria. All right, what is the difference between bringing solution to the table and over sabi when there is a problem or challenge? Now, there is nowhere to draw the line for that, because if you say, oh, I don't want people to call me an over sabi, what you are indirectly saying is, I don't want to earn my recognition. I know somebody who said, he was saying in a seminar, he said, if you don't have people that actually want to kill you, it means you are not pissing off the right people. So if there are people who are okay with the status quo and you try to take them out of that status quo, they will try to kill you. So if you are saying, I don't want to be seen as an oversabi where I am working, simply saying, I don't want to earn my recognition. I just want to join them in whatever they are doing. If you have the idea, whether it is going to work, whether it is not going to work, your job is to put it out there. There is no way you would know whether it will work or it will not work unless it has been implemented. That is where you will know this will work or this will not work. So, but just because if an idea failed the first time, it doesn't mean you are not going to come up with new ideas. No, a lot of persons, they have tried it, they had to try the ideas a million times before they were able to come up with a perfect idea that worked for them. So another one, please, can we have a procedure on how to contribute to open source? I was thinking this has been handled in one of your variety nights, but I'll leave that up to Ms. Perez to handle. How do one balance the need for creativity with constraint of time, budget, resources, and the present economy? Okay. This one is quite, I will not say it's quite hard, but like I said, tech is going to test you. It will really, really test you. Now, if you think I'm learning my tech and things are going fine, and that means you are actually not in tech, because tech is going to test you. And it's a matter of fact, it is when you overcome that test, that is where you can actually say you've grown as a techie. That is when you can actually call yourself maybe a techie. That is the only time. So how do you fix your time and budget? For time, you prioritize what is important. For your budget, you know you have a limited budget. You focus on areas that are important for you, things that are important. And also, like for myself, when I started my coding career and all of that, I had a friend who he wanted to move into tech, but he doesn't have access to data. He doesn't have access to power. Me, I have absolutely no idea what tech is at that time, but I was posted to a school that has steady power and have laboratories, labs where you have computers and data. So what he did was, because we are in the same local government LGA, he had to look for me, make me his friend, and started coming over to my side, started pitching the idea of tech to me. Now, the first thing he had to do was resilience. He need to make sure that this thing is not going to stop me. Just because I don't have it doesn't mean it's not going to stop me. If I don't have it, I'm going to look for somebody who has it and who is ready to do it, and we'll do it together. So he was pushing me to learn tech, just so that he would see where he would use power and use data. That's how I started pushing me. And because he's my friend now, I met him in the north, we're now friends. I don't want to let my friend down. So I bring him on, come to the school. I will sit down there. You do your thing. I'll just do my thing, just like that. And that was how tech for me started. And it wasn't going as I planned, because like I said, tech is not that easy. And for him, he had a platform where he's being taught, and I wasn't part of that platform, so I wasn't taught. So it was more difficult for me to actually follow by learning what he has in his own laptop. So it was difficult for me to learn that. But long story cut short, I had to persevere too. I picked up that motivation from him. And I think my motivation came when I saw his employment letter from Germany. That was when it dawned on me that, you know what, I don't care what it is I've been doing. I don't even know what it is I've been doing here. Someone who has access to power, has data, just comes there and is doing absolutely nothing. But somebody who doesn't have this is actually getting an employment letter from Germany. So that was the motivating factor for me. So, but like I said, it's going to test you. So prioritize, prioritize, prioritize. But as for the economy, I don't know what to say about the economy. Good evening, sir, and kudos for the lecture. I really enjoyed it. Please, I would like to ask this question. In a situation where one is assigned to a task to handle and given a limited time, or possibly one intends to take up a task, but he is not sure if he can or be able to meet up, since he's not really conversant with some of the content. Can he proceed with the task and offer? Now, there is one thing I have learned. If there is one thing I've learned in this tech, it is that there is no task I cannot do. There is absolutely no task in tech I cannot do. If you matter, as a matter of fact, if you are paying me to learn a new programming language right now and work on something with that programming language, I can do it. That is one thing in tech. You need to give it time. The first thing is the mindset. Now, if you put on this mindset that, oh, I don't have the knowledge, that is where you have started failing. The moment you put down this notion that I don't have the knowledge, I can't do it, you have started failing. I follow a lot of developers or maybe techies that work in Google and all of those stuff. Some of them say they got there knowing one programming language, which is actually not being used by Google. But right now, they are working with 3, 4, 5 programming languages they learned while on the job. So there is something called learning on the job. If you are given a task, the person who is giving you the task is not interested in, oh, like I said now, is not interested in your technical know-how. He believes that as a tech person, your job will be to figure it out. And that is why a lot of tech writers, technical writers, are paid a huge sum of money. They are paid money to make research, to write. And who are they writing for? They are writing for you that will solve the problem. So it is your job to research, look out for what they are writing, how they are, the suggestions they are making, and how to tackle that problem. Now, if you talk about time, yeah, I understand that time can be a big factor. I can also understand that resources could be a big factor, but you can actually achieve any task with a little amount of resources. That is what experience has taught me so far. That's what experience has taught me. So how do you manage risk when implementing a creative but untested solution in a tech project? Now, it depends on the risk you want to manage. And I'm sure that if you are implementing any solution, you do your SWOT analysis. If not SWOT analysis, you check out, okay, this solution, what are the, I'm looking for the right word now. Will I call it the downs of it, the upside and the downside, because for every solution, there might be a challenge that comes with it. It might be, oh, this is going to expose user data. It maybe might expose their card details, but whatever solution you want to implement, before it goes out to the market, while you are thinking about it and maybe implementing it, you also have to present it to 1 or 2 persons who are going to test it and provide feedback. So people maybe in a smaller circle are supposed to test whatever solutions you come up with and also come back to you with a feedback, something like that. So I think that's all the question I see here. But if you have any other thing you want to talk about, you can actually ask. But unlike that, until then, Miss Perry, I think you can take over now. Hello, are you there?
Yeah, thank you very much, David.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Now it's 8:20, 8:28. So we've actually exceeded our time. But I want to just answer the person that asked about open source. I think there was a question about open source,
Yes, yes, yes.
how to apply for open sources. So for open source, actually, there are platforms that you can get an open source. If you go to github.com/explore, there are actually open source projects there that are looking for contributors to actually contribute to their project. To their project, I'm talking about as a developer. I don't know about UI UX. I'm talking as a developer how to apply for open source. So GitHub has their own section where they're open source. There are other different platforms that provide this. I think I'll compile a list. I know I'm only prepared this from last week. Well, I will compile them, all of them over this weekend because I've been really busy over this week. But I will compile a list of the various platforms and their list of open sources. So now, for example, if you go to the github.com/explore, if you go to the site, you're going to see a lot of companies. You're going to see their repos. I believe you know what a GitHub repo is for the developers. You're going to see their repo. So now, how would you apply to their project? So you're going to see the repo. So you're going to go to their current code base, look at the README, Look at the current issues they're going to, because they're going to document it. Look at the current issues they're actually facing and looking to fix. After you review the code, you've gone through the README, you understand it. So now what you can do that to contribute is that you're going to clone the repo. You're going to actually make an adjustment to their code base, but because it's cloned to your own local terminal, you're going to clone it, make an update, fix one of the challenge they have there, one of the issues they're having there. Once you fix that issue, you're going to I said clone. You're going to actually you can say no. You're going to you can clone or you can fork it, sir. That's fork. You can, yeah. So once you made your changes, once you've updated the code base on your local terminal, you can actually request for a pull request to the code base, whereby you're asking them to you're trying to push to their own code base now. So it means you're asking them to actually accept what the changes you've made. But don't just code the base. When you're committing those changes, you have to be very detailed about the things you fixed, because once they review your pull request, they're going to go through your commit messages, the issues you solve. Your commit should be well detailed. So then that okay, this is the area he worked in, this is what he fixed, this was what he fixed. Then if you're able, if they like what they like what you've done, they're going to actually accept your pull request and you're going to be a contributor to that particular project and your name will be added to it. So that's how open source actually does work. And that's concerning that particular questions. Okay, I think we've more than exceeded our time. We're 31 minutes ahead. So yeah, so I think that's it. David, thank you very much. Thank you for this very wonderful section. I really loved it. I'm sure everybody did. I'm sure everybody did. Oh, so we have a pool section in the pool area. So you can rate your last week Variety Friday experience, and you can also rate this Variety Friday experience in the pool area, so we can know if you enjoyed it, if you didn't actually enjoy that. So I'll just give a few minutes for that before actually ending the meeting. So you can go to the pool area. It's the second tab on the bottom of your screen. If you see it there, you select it says pool. So you select two questions to drop your ratings, and after that, we can end today's Variety Friday. You can't see any pool. You can't find any pool. It's at the bottom of your screen. It should be at the bottom. It's actually beside the Q&A, or you're on the left hand side. The icon beside the Q&A icon. Pool not found. Pool not found. Okay. But I'm seeing it on my own end. No, there's no pool. There's no pool. There's no physical pool. Okay, somebody said they've seen it. Wow. Only one person have found it so far. It says no pool has been launched. Maybe it might be from the platform we're using, but people are actually dropping in their ratings. So I believe it's actually there for people to be there, dropping in their ratings. So please just still check again. So at the bottom, the icon on the left hand side of the Q&A, there should be a poll. The one that says rate last week's experience, and the second one says rate today's Variety Friday. Okay, somebody says working now. Okay, you've seen it. It's seen it. It's up. Okay, maybe it was just maybe network or something that was causing that. All right. All right. I hope from all we've heard, we're all going to be eager to be facing challenges. I hope we're all going to be doing things we didn't see ourselves doing. So I have to actually solve a we have to solve a problem. Okay, let me ask a question while we're waiting for the people, other people to read with the experiences. Have you ever looked as a developer, or maybe just don't even be a developer? I believe that if you've seen a product, it can be any product, it can be a website, it can be an actual physical product, it can be anything, basically a product. Have you ever said that? Have you ever discovered a flaw in a product and like you believe that this thing would have been done better, or this thing would have been pitched better, or this thing would have had a better result, and you might have like an insight to that. That's how it starts. You can as a if you're a front end developer or a coder, you can look at a project. You can go to your website. When I go to a website and be like, okay, this button is this site is not looking nice. I don't like the UI. I'm already giving already finding the faults in something. You're meant to be looking for faults to be fixing. That's our jobs. Our job. We're meant to be looking for faults to fix. So you look at this and I'm like, they would have done better. This button doesn't work. This issue doesn't work. If I log in and have this error, if the site takes too much time to log in, the caching is not working very fast. It's too slow and the rest. Or you can see as a cybersecurity might see, oh, we might try to even hack into the website. Like, well, you can see some possible chances of vulnerability. Basically, you're actually seeing faults in everyday's life, and you can think of a better way to actually improve it. I think we should start having that particular mindset, finding faults in things to fix. That will be the start. The start. For example, now for me, I want to say, okay, I would say, okay, for me, yeah, like for example now, Jumia websites, for example. I feel that for Jumia website, it's great, the UI is great, but I feel that there are things they can add to actually improve it. For example, they can add a comment section where people that actually buy a product can actually review a product. Not just review a product, they can actually send a picture of the product they received. So we can see it from the buyer's end point of view, not just the marketers. Because some of the marketers, they've done some photo editing, writing, and the pictures, what we're seeing there might not be the real thing, but somebody buys it and snaps to the camera and upload it under the review section. They'll be like, okay, this man bought it. This is what he got. This is what he said about the product. I would believe him over the fancy fancy feature. That's one feature they can integrate. So the other things, just basically you have to have that mindset of looking at things, finding a fault in it whereby we can actually fix it. And maybe you can actually do your own project that way and actually find a fix to it. You can actually even go and pitch your idea to them if you can solve the problem. Exactly. So you can pitch your idea to them and the rest. So that's how we should have that type of someone said that yes, I have gmail.org. Yeah, that's one of my major challenges with Jumia. I think the other sites, other things, I can't remember them now, but so that's it. So always look at the product, look for a way to improve the products. Yeah, and you can if you find a way to improve it, if you can find a solution, you can actually go and pitch it to them. After you have a solution to it, you can actually do your solution. You can just pitch it. You cannot just talk the talk and not walk the walk. You have to be able to, okay, when they give you the listening ear, how they actually have to show results for it too. So yeah, there's that. I think we should all have that mindset. So I think we should be done rating by now. I think that was up to 5 minutes or so. I think that's enough time. I think that's enough time. Let me say it's not working. It just came up now. Okay. No who added. I think it's no who added here. Something was okay. That was like less than 5 minutes ago. I believe we're all done with dropping our ratings. You're done. You can drop the thumbs up in the comments so we can actually end the call. And just drop the thumbs up to indicate we can know that a lot of you have actually done that. Okay. I think another example I can give is okay, that was a recent one. That's for just because I'm still waiting for the full rating. That is what that this is for. I think cyber security. It's in the crypto space. I think it happened in was it June or was it July? I can't remember. June or July, one of them. But it's a crypto space. I think if you know crypto, you should know Bitcoin and you should know the second league. That is Ethereum. Right? But basically, this story is for Ethereum people. So I think around is it June, July, or basically this year? It happened this year, but beginning of the year. I can't remember the particular month. But did you believe that Ethereum websites, the not only Ethereum blockchain itself was hacked. The transaction, it wasn't a wallet that was hacked. It was Ethereum itself that was hacked by two MIT students. Yeah, by two MIT students. It hit the news. It's actually, if you search it out, you see it's by two MIT students. And they say it's the first of its kind to ever been seen. Like it has never happened in history before. Nobody would believe that the blockchain itself would be hacked. And these two people did it in less than, I think it was 30 seconds, and they were able to take in, although I don't know if they claim guilty, there's no evidence against them, but they are suing these two students. I've not followed the case after that, but I know that they actually are suing and they're denying the case. And but they were able to hack the blockchain website. And this is first of the kind. So me, I'm thinking that if somebody can actually hack you, don't you think you should hire them? And you should need to have that people on your team. Like you understand, like they saw a problem, they saw a bug, they saw an entry that nobody have ever seen before, all your staff haven't seen before. They saw a problem, and they they took, well, I don't know if they took advantage of it, but they were able to find that problem while other people weren't able to find that fix, and they were able to actually. So I think that for my own advice, they should actually hire them when they're done with school. Just hire them before they get done with school. Hire them because for them to find that problem and manipulate it and show evidence that this is actually a serious breach is a challenge that they can solve, they can fix it because they know it actually exists. This is actually existing there. Okay, so I think that's the end of our talk today. I think I think the rating should be done by now. So we'll be ending today's Variety Friday. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for your time. Thank you for all that you've done. David, thank you very much for your words, your wisdom, and everything. Me personally, I've learned a lot from your seminar today. I hope you've all learned enough. So with this, I will say to everybody have a good night, and we see you next week, Friday, with a different topic. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night.